Hello, I'm Mike Mulvihill. In 2016, when the steam engine visited Carrick-on-Shannon for the day, lots of people turned out on the platform to see the steam engine rolling down the track. And indeed, when it did arrive in Carrick-on-Shannon, there was then a second journey to Boyle in County Roscommon, a return leg that many people got to take. On that return leg, I spoke to Brendan Wisley. And here is Brendan on this version of Unscripted. So we're on the steam engine here. We're travelling to Boyle and it's March the 13th. We're joined by Brendan Wisley. And Brendan, thanks for taking part in our documentary, first of all. Your father was a guard on the narrow gauge, which operated between Belturbet and Arigna.
Belturbet and Drummond. And his name is Michael Wisley. He joined the railway in 1912. And that's when he joined the railway first. And he retired in 1956. That's when he retired, 1956.
So when you say that he was a guard on the railway, what would he have done?
He was in charge of the train, like, you know, the driver and fireman, they were in the engine. He was in charge of the train, collecting the tickets and, you know, and if anyone wanted to stop, and the next day, the small stop, like, you know, like another day, he'd have to tell them that they'd have to stop there, like, you know.
And you were telling a good one about if the train ever broke down or anything like that, there was a procedure that they did.
They had to go back a mile or half a mile and they'd lay down a fog signal every 100 yards or about 200 yards that the train coming out to relieve them, to bring it back into the station. They'd know that he was getting near there. It could be dark at night, there were no lights that time, and when he hit the fog signal, then the other train coming would know that he was near the breakdown train. So that he'd take him into Ballinamore or something like that, you know.
And you yourself would have been on the trains and operating between Belturbet and Drummond a lot?
Yeah, and when we get my holidays, I was on the train regularly, like, you know. And I was helping my father out on the train, like, you know, throwing out leaflets at the halls, like, then when it would become a monthly timetable, and they know when there's extra trains going on, like a fair day, and they know when they were coming, and the hall keeper opened the gate, they know that the extra train's on, like, you know.
So a lot of people would have used this line when it was in operation. How many would you think, like, every day would be using it?
Oh, a lot of people, but that time nobody had cars, like, you know, and they really wanted to go to the fair or any of that, you know. They brought cattle as well, like, you know, the big fair in Mohill, like, that was the Monaghan Day Fair, 28th of February, 25th of February, and that was a big day. They used to bring the cattle from Mohill Fair down to Belturbet and transfer the cattle then from Belturbet onto the broad gauge and then go off to Belfast or wherever it was, like, you know. We had the narrow gauge, but the Belturbet from there on, then throwing us on to Belfast, there was what they call the broad gauge. The same in Drummond. The Sligo Dublin train was what they call the broad gauge, and we were known as the narrow gauge.
So that's what we'd be on at the moment, the broad gauge.
Broad gauge, that's right, broad gauge. That was the term the railwaymen used that time, the broad gauge.
And a lovely chime, you could probably hear it in the background of the sound of the engine and the whistle a few minutes ago.
That's right, yeah, and you hear when you open the window there, you hear that, or you know when you were labouring or when you were getting over the bank, and then you go freewheeling then, like, you know.
And finally, just going back on the narrow gauge, is it something that you'd like to see coming back? Do you think that there'll ever be a time when the narrow gauge will operate again between Drummond and Belturbet? There's been talk of it from maybe Drummond to Mohill. Will it ever happen?
It's too late now. It's gone. It's so many years they're closed now. In the beginning they could have got it, like, you know, but no, never will be. Never. No. That's it.
More nice stories from Brendan Wisley there. From Ballinamore in County Leitrim, Brendan was on the steam engine from Carrick-on-Shannon to Boyle and back again in 2016. Don't forget to check out this website and other websites where you'll find our content for further interviews from the Narrow Gauge documentary. And you can also have a little look for Off the Beaten Track, a very special documentary which I did on the Cavan Leitrim narrow gauge railway. So, until next time, from myself, Mike Mulvihill, thank you for listening and goodbye.